appearance in the Colt, which race and rally legend Sarel van der Merwe drove in the Barberspan 500. On board with Grobler and Leek in the Nissan hardbody. They couldn't believe their luck when they came across race leaders De Villiers and Jordan parked at the side of the track. An onboard fire forced the leaders to stop. Later, a puncture would delay them even more and drop them way down the order. The veteran pair took full advantage of their teammates' misfortune and proceeded to open a significant gap on Woolridge and Skoltommer in the Ford Racing Ranger. Woolridge has complained all season long that the Ford does not have the pace of the Nissans, and the Caledon 400 was no exception. Reineke and Houghton were third and setting a steady pace after damaging the Land Cruiser's drivetrain on a rock hidden in a mud hole, which caused severe vibration at speeds over 120 kilometers per hour. The Duplessis brothers were on a charge and comfortably ahead of the other special vehicle contenders. Magaghenene had dropped down the field, and Delson Rutherford were now second and leading Class S by a wide margin in the Nashua Mobile Raceco. Shumi van Vieren and Steve Parker in the Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser were the new leaders in Class D and had got by championship leaders Voss and Griffiths, who followed close behind in the Nissan hardbody. Frikkie Botha and Blackie Swart were having a great run and had moved up to third overall in the special vehicle category and second in Class S. Greg Harvey's sole objective was to finish as high up the finishing order as possible and amass more points to keep him at the top of the championship log. Hein Grobler and Gerard Prinsloo were 10th overall in the Nissan hardbody, but they would later be forced to retire when the engine overheated. Henry Costain and Reiner Uester were 4th overall in the special vehicle category in the Sekarock Sandmaster, but behind them a huge battle was developing between some top runners who had started way down or had had problems and were now fighting their way back. Ware Smith started 59th and was now 31st. Weigelt, being overtaken by De Villiers, started 68th and was now 34th. Magaghenene had dropped from 2nd to 34th, and De Villiers, who led the race, was 33rd. Weigelt did not complete the prologue due to gearbox failure on the Ford. On board with race leaders Grobler and Leek in the Nissan hardbody, the rough terrain had taken its toll on a significant percentage of the field, but there were no problems for the veteran pair as they headed for the designated service point at De Wetsdorp. Gerard and Laurens Duplessis had a commanding lead in the special vehicle category, with the Mobile Jimco not missing a beat thus far. Dawson Rutherford led Class S from Botha and Swart, and Billy Bond and Anton Lombard in the Prolong Raceco. Voss and Griffiths regained the Class D lead, but would later retire when the right front wheel and hub came apart. This would be their first non-finish in the Bankman Off-Road Championship. Colin Matthews led Class B in the Industrial Hardware WPP, but had Francois Smit and Rob Walk in close pursuit. Father and son duo Hugo and Jaap de Bruin in the Castrol Toyota Hilux had opened up a commanding lead in Class E. Rob Walk's charge came to an abrupt halt when a CV joint seized on the Super Team Mighty Mag, allowing Nick Hosler and Glenn Stain in the Super Team Raceco and Gil Nel in the Luke Africa Truggy to nip by. The replacement differential on the Dabro Land Cruiser was holding out, and he had moved up to 5th in Class D.
Driving at the moment. There's the limiting strap here, bro. So the CV has got too hot and seized. But we're going to change it now. We're going to carry on.
The damage to the Mighty Mag was terminal, and Walk was forced into retirement. The Caledon 400 crowd leaders passed through the designated service point without stopping for fuel or repairs, but Haasbroek and Bosch weren't that lucky. They limped into the pits on 3 wheels.
So 5 kilos van hier. Hij rijdt maar een beetje moeilijk zo.
on board with Hannes Grobler and Richard Leek in the Nissan hardbody. The pair had opened up a lead for over 4 minutes on Woolridge and Skolthammer in the Ford. So far, the Nissan hadn't missed a beat, and barring any unforeseen problems, victory appeared to be in the bag. Woolridge and Skolthammer were unable to close the gap on the leading Nissan. They have finished second on 3 occasions and once in third place this year. Their only non-finish came on the Nissan Sugarbelt 400 when they retired the Ford with suspension damage. With Foss and Griffiths retiring from the event, their championship hopes received a huge boost. There was no stopping the Duplessis brothers. Makhegenene, Ware Smith and Marsh had retired from the event, and their only real threat was Greg Harvey. Reineke and Houghton battled with the vibration on the Toyota's drivetrain and were almost 15 minutes behind Grobler and Leek and had little chance of closing the gap. Harvey and Stone closed in fast on a regional competitor. The Queenstown pair was almost 25 minutes adrift of the leading Jimco. Henry Kirstein and Rainer Juster had a great run so far, but disaster struck when they rolled the Sekirok Sandmaster close to the finish. Dowson Rutherford led Class S in the Nashua Mobile Race Co, and Bond and Lombard had moved up to second. Cliff Weichelt and Johann Smalberger had come from 68th to 8th overall and 4th in Class T in the N1 4x4 Ford Ranger. New Class D leaders Mark Corbett and Juan Moore in the Century Property Developments Isuzu have performed consistently and finished every event this year. They had a 2.5-minute lead over Haasbroek and Bosch in the Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser. The Tusker farmers have a never-say-die approach to off-road racing and soldiered on despite 2 punctures and a misfire. The order had settled down in the closing stages of the race. Grobler and Leek continued on their merry way at the head of the field, which had been whittled down from 69 to 30. A faultless performance saw the Duplessis brothers pick up their 3rd consecutive special vehicle win in the Mobile Jimco. Dowson Rutherford couldn't pull off an overall win this time around and had to be satisfied with 3rd overall and the Class S win. Corbett and Moore clinched victory in Class D in the Century Property Developments Isuzu, ahead of Haasbroek and Dabro. The Class E win went to Manfred Schroeder and Jack Peckham in the Ford Racing Ranger after the De Brems retired from the race. Marcus Taylor and Mark Deschalaine won Class B for the 4th consecutive time in the Truck Time JRE. Marius and Tracy van Vieren finished 2nd in Class D in the recent Toyota Dealer 400 and were placed in the Caledon 400, but then disaster struck. The Alborante Land Rover's prop shaft was badly damaged by a submerged rock, and they too were forced into retirement. Francois Jordan provided some comic relief at the finish.
The clutch went. Unfortunately, we were lying 3rd overall and the clutch went. One of those things, nothing we can do about it.
Nissan management and the luckless Geniel de Villiers waited patiently for the leading Nissan to arrive at the finish. The moment finally arrived as Hannes Grobler and Richard Leek cruised home to their 2nd victory of the season in the Nissan hardbody. Neil Woolridge and Kenny Skolthammer were 2nd in the Ford Racing Ranger.
We had a hard drive today. We had all different types of road conditions. It was rough. We had mud. We had fast stuff like rally stuff. But we paced ourselves well, and we knew if we're going to pace ourselves that we don't have any punctures or whatever, and we keep a good pace, we've got a good chance to win it, and we pulled it off, and we're very happy.
The Class T Super Trucks occupied the top 4 positions in the production vehicle category, and there were class wins for Nissan, Isuzu and Ford. 3 wins out of 4 starts this season for Gerard and Lawrence Duplessis in the Mobile Jimco.
Het is lekker om 3 keer achter elkaar te winnen. Ons ry nou ons ry 7 jaar al, die wedrenne. En ons begin nou eers hierdie jaar iets reg kry. So, ek dink is nou tyd. Maar dit is lekker.
Only 10 special vehicles managed to finish the grueling Caledon 400, with the less powerful Class B and Class S entries accounting for 6 of the top 10 placings.